Howdy there guys, welcome back to Edgar TV. Today we're going to be looking over Pro Tour 2, Players Championship 2 of 30 events, and I'll let you know at the end of this the match play standings as well, because that's sort of the next big sort of TV event that people will be qualifying for. 16 players, the top 16 in the world, and the top 16 in regards to this order of merit, the Pro Tour 1 year system, which will also include the European tours that qualifiers kick off for tomorrow. So it gets a little bit confusing, but don't worry, I'll talk you through everything you need to know. Just make sure you subscribe to the TV. You'll get everything you need to know on there. What we're going to do first of all, we're going to have a little look through the first rounds to see what we can see in terms of stories. Dimitri Vandenberg continuing his sort of poor form in these sort of events, going out in the first round. Cameron Menzies continuing his good form. There's a couple of new tour card holders doing very well, in fact. James Hurrell had a good run yesterday. Michel Torretta, somebody who I honestly thought would struggle with the tour, has actually started off pretty well. So lots of stories in the early stages. Michael Smith going out 6-5 in the opening round, as did world champion Luke Humphries, who's had a horrible first weekend on the tour this year. Luke Littler, who won yesterday. You know what, right? The draw comes out. Luke Littler versus Danny Noppert, and you think, oh, Luke Littler will win that easy. And then you think, we're talking about Danny Noppert here, one of the top players in the world, according to the rankings, and it's like, it's crazy when you're just sort of dismissing people. That's just sort of what he's doing to us and how he's making us think about things. Richie Burnett got called up to the Pro Tour, 104 average against him by Barry Van Peer. He got called up to replace Gerwyn Price, who pulled out yesterday. I've got a video on that if you're not sure about what happened. Andy Bartons, who won the WDF World Championship, showing that he's more than capable of mixing it up at the very top table. A 104.91 average and a 6-1 win there. Mike Dedecker, 108, 100 averages going in galore. Here you'll see Luke Humphries losing a game that on paper you wouldn't expect him to lose there. You'd have got a good price on Luke Humphries losing that. Martin Lukeman had a good year 2 years ago. Last year didn't follow it up, and he's playing a lot better there. 103 average for him. Leighton Bennett, who had a 9 darter yesterday. Young lad in his teens still. A lot of promise early on, expected big things to happen, didn't quite happen straight away, but it seems to be happening now. He picks up another £1,000 towards his order of merit as well. And Adam Hunt returning to the Pro Tour, he gets his first victory. Ryan Searle, who didn't win, he got to the final, lost out in that classic final to Luke Littler. He makes the second round, so another £1,000 on the order of merit for everyone down the left hand side. Mervyn King and Ian White, two people that need that ranking money because their tour cards could be up for grabs at the end of this year. Now round 2 is where we round up the big performers of this stage. However, there's a big story emerging in this round. Luke Littler losing his first game on the Pro Tour. Now, he lost this to Radak Skaganski. This is a play you wouldn't normally expect, or certainly the way that Luke Littler's playing. I don't know who you'd expect Luke Littler to lose to. FDI stats have now got him as the number 2 player in the world, fastly approaching the number 1, and that's based on all the current form and the results that they've been showing. So, losing to Skaganski. Now, Skaganski would have been in a World Match Play place and a World Grand Prix place had he not lost his tour card at the back end of last year, but now he's sort of chasing because he got the loss of the cards, so he starts again from zero. Probably won't be in those events. If it wasn't for losing his card, if he would have won that one extra game at the World Championship, he would probably be looking at top 32 potentially by the end of this year. Unfortunately, maybe a little hole there or thing within the rankings and the system, just to show maybe a little bit of an issue there. This has happened before. Keegan Brown, this happened to a few years ago, but Skaganski beats Luke Littler. Here's your star performers of the second round. Cameron Menzies again, 105 average for him. Gary Anderson, someone to keep an eye on once again this year, 6-0 victory with 106 against Adam Gavlas. I do think Anderson's going to win a TV title this year, but the big standout performer for two reasons. One, the average of 108.76 on Niels Zonneveld, but also the very interesting fact that he only won by a leg. It went to a last leg shootout and he won 6-5 with 108.76. Bonkers. Now, we'll update you obviously on everything as the year goes on. It's only number 2, so it's hard to pick up those events and where people are going to be in regards to qualification for things. But we can pretty much say Luke Littler is already in the Players' Championship finals at Minehead. £16,000 on his opening weekend, 15 grand for winning it, £1,000 for the second round. I'll also think he's in a good position now to close that gap on the match play. Be interested to see if he gets any European tours. These are your last 32 results for the day. You can see a couple of interesting results here. Andy Barton's, people was unsure whether how good he was in relation to after winning that WDF title. How much weight does that title still have now? Well, quite some weight here, 6-4 victory over Josh Rock. Toretta again reaching the last 32. Very good first opening weekend for him. He picks up some good ranking money, but losing out to Peter Wright, who's finally getting some results on the board. He's had a very torrid time of things in recent times, so good to see him picking up wins. Ryan Searle, who made the final yesterday, on the road to the final again. Another good performance from him. Gary Anderson picking up the wins again. So the stories are starting to develop. But this was one that I was interested in. Danny Lauby, American Tour card holder now, getting to his third round here. So to the board final, losing to Robert Owen, who won his tour card off the Challenge Tour Order of Merit a couple of years ago. Didn't have a great time of things last year, but he's already kicking it off a lot better in 24. Now, the story of the last 16, for me, all boils down to one man. It's a man we spoke about a bit during this video already. A man I think is going to win a TV title this year. Gary Anderson, who once again sets the world alight. 117.22 the average in a 6-0 win over Andy Barton's, the WDF World Champion, who played his part, averaging 101.25, but didn't get a look in there against Gary Anderson, who is on absolute fire once again in 2024. He's surely got to pick up a title on the telly this year. In regards to the other results, you can see here all the way through to the quarterfinals now, which have just completed. We've still got Ryan Searle in there. Peter Wright making a semi-final, winning the All-Scottish Class against Cameron Menzies. Following that, a win against Robert Owen. Averaged nearly 100 there in that one. So Peter Wright is really sort of... This has got to be a confidence-boosting run here for Peter Wright. When you think about like the time he's had, this could be an interesting thing now to keep an eye on him. Not just for this tournament, but also the Premier League on Thursday night when he takes on MVG. Martin Lukeman, semi-final minimum for him now. That's a great run for him, considering how sort of last year dropped off. And he's defending an awful lot of money this year. He got a couple of wins at the World Grand Prix a few years ago. World Match Play, was in the World Championship. So he's going to be defending a lot. So a great thing there for him to kickstart his season with a run to the to the semis at least. Peter Wright did crash out in the semi-finals today, setting up a final with Gary Anderson and Ryan Searle. Two people that practice together on a semi-sort of regular basis. Ryan Searle says in practice, Gary Anderson smashes him up on a regular basis. It wasn't quite a smashing, but it was a victory for Gary Anderson. Ryan Searle, who reached the final yesterday, reaches the final again today, but goes out in the final. So 2 runners-up spots. I've seen a post recently from Ryan today saying about how he feels like his lead leg's going to fall off after 2 solid days of darts and 2 cracking results in regards to those runners-up spots. He was disappointed to lose to Littler yesterday. He was going for him. He wanted to get out there and get that victory against him, but obviously Littler got over the line, as we know. So 2 really good days there to kickstart the year for Gary Anderson, and this is the World Match Play Order of Merit. This is like the first thing that we're going to be looking at this year. This takes place in July at Blackpool, the Winter Gardens. It's sort of like the first real big sort of like solo board. We've got the UK Open coming up in March, but this is the first sort of solo board event. And you can see at the moment the cut-off is 24,250. What happens here? A player from this side of the draw will play a player from this side. So this is the top 16 ranked in the world. This is the top 16 ranked Pro Tour. Luke Littler obviously is an interesting topic. Here you'll see him number 28. So he's only 12 places off at the moment, and that's only 8,000 and a quarter away from qualifying. So I do think we're going to see Littler at the match play. You can see down here some people that are going to need sort of good runs. Ian White, very close as well. He's knocking on the door. Scott Williams, who reached the World Championship semi-final, knocking on the door. Jim Williams, someone I think is going to get into a qualifying position as well. So we'll watch all these stories unfold throughout the year. Do make sure you subscribe if you want to be talked through it, who's qualifying for this, the Grand Prix, the World Championship, tour cards. All year long, I will do these reports at the end of a Pro Tour and let you know and talk you through everything you're going to need to know in regards to the unfolding of the Pro Tour. So if you can't watch it along during the day, don't worry, wait till around about 7:30 at night and I'll upload a nice little video for you explaining everything that you're going to need. So subscribe down below, hit a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video and this sort of roundup of everything Pro Tour related, and I'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV. Edgar TV.